Lynch had to say. To be honest with you, I would be lying if I didn't tell you that I was expecting the ball. Yes, I was expecting the ball, but in life, these things happen. Like I told a reporter after the game, it's a team sport. I had no problem with the decision of the play calling. I mean, I think it was more of a, how do I say this? When you look at me and you let me run the ball in, I am the face of the nation, MVP of the Super Bowl. That's pretty much the face of the nation at that point of time. I don't know what went into the call. I mean, maybe it was a good thing that I didn't get the ball. I mean, it cost us the Super Bowl. I mean, I have full confidence in my teammates to execute that plan because we've done it so many more times. But would I love to have had the ball in? Yes, I would have. But the game is over, and I'm in Turkey. Game's over and he's in Turkey, guys. Okay, so from what I'm able to gather from his quote, he essentially said if he would have ran the ball in and they would have won the Super Bowl, he would have been the MVP, and perhaps some would not have enjoyed that or wanted that. So your take, did he have a point?
I mean, I think he does have a point. Now, do I think that Pete Carroll consciously thought to himself, I don't want Marshawn Lynch to be the MVP, I'm not giving him the ball? Absolutely not. Do I think it's possible to consider that over the course of time with Russell Wilson, over the course of the season, do you develop an implicit trust in certain guys? Russell Wilson, definitely the definition of a company man for them. He's always saying the right thing. He's always doing the right thing. Look at the week leading up to that moment. Russell Wilson's out in front of the media, not causing headlines in a bad way, whereas Marshawn Lynch, now you can argue whether it was bad or not, but he was a distraction, quote unquote, as they say. So now when you get to that moment in time, is it possible that Pete Carroll and that coaching staff had an implicit trust in Russell Wilson that they did not have in Marshawn Lynch? Does that change their play calling over the course of the season, including that moment? I think that's possible. Absolutely. No, I don't think they consciously thought it, but I think he has a point in terms of the underlying subconscious factors.
I can't stand these comments from Marshawn Lynch. I didn't like his antics during the Super Bowl. I think a lot of people were wondering, because this is the type of play, when you look moving forward, how is this team going to respond? And this is clearly not how you do that. You talk about a distraction, which he was during the Super Bowl. This is only going to create more dissent within that locker room, more just confusion, more guys being upset with each other. And I hate the fact that he had to bring it back up and even suggest that there could have been anything, because I disagree with you, because I think in that situation, and you get down to the real specifics of the call. Pete Carroll addressed it right after the game, and as did their offensive coordinator. But you go according to personnel. So New England comes in, they put in their big personnel because they're thinking, as we all were, they're going to run Marshawn Lynch. They're going to run the ball physically, try to overwhelm us down on the on the 1 yard line. So when you're up in the press box, or Pete Carroll's not involved. But when you're in the press box watching what happens, you're saying, all right, they're thinking this, so we're going to go counter them. It's the chess match that comes into play. And this is where I do think the Seahawks, they out-thunked themselves, if that's a word. But they got too cute. And they got cute, and they said, well, they're doing this, so we're going to come back with the perfect play, which obviously now we see in hindsight was not the perfect play. And I think, if I was the play caller and I had just rattled off a 4 or 5 yard run with Marshawn Lynch, I would have rode the momentum and said, here you go. But for him to suggest that there was any kind of movement not to get him the MVP, I think that's crazy talk.
I have to play tiebreaker here, don't I, between these two? I'm going to say, no, he doesn't have a point, because to what you said about why put that out there if you're Marshawn Lynch. The quote was, I think it was more of a, how do I say this? When you look at me, and you let me run the ball in, I'm the face of the nation. I don't think anybody's going to put Marshawn Lynch being the face of the nation if he ran the ball in and was the Super Bowl MVP, or the face of that organization.
He would have been the hero, and no one wanted him to be.
Well, he would have been the anti-hero from that standpoint, because people still would have had a problem based on what happened the week leading up to the Super Bowl. And I'd have a problem with what he did with the media. If you made yourself available, you do what the NFL told you to do, you were just there so you wouldn't get fined, you did all those things fine. But for him to say, you know what, they didn't want me to be the face of the nation, I think that's really talking about yourself way too much and overvaluing yourself way too much if you're Marshawn Lynch. And why would you put that out there? I don't know if that's going to be a distraction in the locker room, but I know from Russell Wilson, from Pete Carroll, I'm thinking, dude, are you really saying that the reason we didn't want you to run it in is because we didn't want you to be the face of the nation? No, we made a call at that time that didn't work out. Yeah, you want to be upset that we got a second goal at the 1 yard line, we didn't run the ball in with you because you're the way that we play football, fine. But for him to even suggest, well, they didn't want me to be the MVP or the face of the nation, that's what I have a problem with that statement. That's why I don't think he has a point.
But
That's why I don't think he has a point.
subconsciously, I mean, Kate's point is maybe they weren't like, let's make sure that Russell Wilson is.
No, Kate's point is valid. I'm not questioning Kate's point. I'm questioning what he said about that. The suggestion they didn't want him to be the MVP or the face of the nation.
So you don't think he has a point?
I don't think he has a point at all from that standpoint, saying that Seattle was trying to keep him from being the face of the nation. I'm just thinking, okay, what demon got in your ear for you to even suggest something like that or put that out there? I mean, I know it's Turkish TV. Maybe something got lost in translation.
Or he may know something we don't know. Go ahead, Kate.
Also, he's not putting himself on a pedestal and saying, I'm the face of the nation. He's talking about that moment and what it means to sports. I don't think he's overblowing that moment. I think whoever scores or makes the big play in that moment, as we saw.
See, Malcolm Butler.
Yeah. So that's not about some sort of ego trip with Marshawn Lynch. I think he's very honestly describing what happens to the player who makes the key play in the Super Bowl. Now, the question here is if you switch the personalities of QB and running back on that team, do we see different play calls? Do you give it?
No way.
No way?
No way.
I think the play call is the play call. It is what it is.
Yep.
Because as we've seen before, in both good and bad ways, coaches will do whatever it takes to win. They could care less who's the guy doing it, whether it's a perfect role model for everybody or it's a guy who's kind of played the antithesis, the anti-hero. Hey, you know, I'm out here doing what I want to do. They could care less who gets the ball in that situation.
And let's talk about Malcolm Butler, maybe one of the all-time great interceptions. Not enough has been talked about that, but no one's saying Malcolm Butler is the face of the nation. That's what I'm getting at with kind of an ego thing that I understand heat of the moment and everything like that. Clearly understand from Marshawn Lynch, because I know if I got you to a 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line and that offense is based on me. I know Russell Wilson is the quarterback, but there's no way they're in the Super Bowl if Marshawn Lynch doesn't go into beast mode in the NFC Championship game, or if he doesn't go into beast mode the later part of that Super Bowl to put them in position to be in a position to win that football game. For him to say that, you know, they didn't want me or somebody didn't want me or I would have been the face of the nation, that's the problem I had with that statement. If you said, you know what, I should have been the MVP, I would have been the MVP if I got in the end zone, okay.
He's right about that.
I'm not saying he's not right about that, but for him to say the face of the nation, that's the comment that rubbed me the wrong way.
He may not have used it the right way. Maybe that wasn't the right choice of words. But like Malcolm Butler, come on, we all know about him now.
He was at the Grammys.
Yeah, right?
Come on.
He's a stylist now. He's big time.
And he's got a free truck. We forgot.
He gets to choose his color now.
You're right. Yeah, I didn't see that.
And he's not the face of the nation. So
he was for 48 hours. What?
It's a great story.
I'm not dismissing the story. But
Somebody has some cranky juice. We need
come on. See, that's just.
I don't know how many times he said the face of the nation in the last 5 minutes.
It's the face of the nation.
Yeah. Face of the nation on CBS every Sunday morning. Not with me.
We leave it there. When we come back, he was caught on camera berating one of his players. Should he be suspended? Well, according to Vanderbilt, he will not. But should he be? That is the question. Coming up on First Take. Also on First Take, the Cumin highlight reel will be handing out scores for the best dunks of last month, including this one by DeMarcus Cousins. We talk about that in just a few moments. Kate Bacon, Danny Cannell, Freddie Coleman, not cranky, Carrie Champion, all here on First Take. We'll be right back in just a few moments. The face of the nation. On to a new topic, Ndamukong Suh. Right before we came on air, obviously, we were talking about this. Ndamukong Suh will not get the franchise tag, which means that the Lions have until next Tuesday to actually work out a deal with him to be long-term or up. He's up for the next highest bidder. Where do you see Ndamukong Suh, Danny?
I think he'll be back with Detroit. I think they'll figure out a way to try to get this done. I mean, the franchise tag made 0 cents. I think it brought his salary up to $26 million. Yeah. He's going to get paid. I mean, that's very clear. But you just don't see guys that make that type of an impact on the interior or the defensive line just sitting around. I mean, every team would love to have him. The opposite of DeMarco Murray, we're talking about him. This is one where Suh could drive up the price even higher. Sure. So it'll be interesting to see if Detroit can get it done in the next week before he can go hit that open market. Sure. Because if he does, it'll be off the charts.
I mean, the money he was going to make on that franchise tag is not what he's going to be getting in the open market. So, of course, if Detroit comes back, he was already making, what, $21 million?
Yeah.
And they're not going to let him go.
Right.
Okay, because that team, that city, that defense, that mentality, he is the face of it. So, of course, they're going to pay him $20, $21 million. He seems like he likes playing in Detroit as well. So, I see him coming back in the same range that he was making now. Because no other team's going to pay him you know,
I don't know.
what that
I don't know.
franchise-
I feel like
no,
somebody
but that
would.
franchise,
That franchise, yeah.
significant
Oh, yeah, the
more,
26, yeah.
significant more.
Right.
To your point, Kate and Danny, yeah, he's coming back to Detroit because I know there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to be in play. I mentioned Jacksonville, $67 million in cap space. Oakland, they have $53 million in cap space.
I can see making a really strong push.
I can
He
see
would
Oakland
fit in
making
well
he would
there.
fit in perfectly with that team because I like their quarterback in Derek Carr. Can you imagine Ndamukong Suh up the middle and Khalil Mack on the outside, who was really good as a rookie outside linebacker / defensive end coverage guy? Someone's going to take a run at him, but if I'm Detroit, if he gets into the building, hey guys, to say hi, I'm putting his hand behind his back, I'm
it's a wrap.
blindfolding him, I'm taking him somewhere else and say, how much is it going to take to sign this guy? I'm with you guys. There's no way I'm letting him leave Detroit, and I think the Lions will resign him.
All right. So Ndamukong Suh, according to we all think he's staying in Detroit.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
the deadline today, right?
Yeah, so which we can
Yeah.
discuss tomorrow. I will say this: I really appreciate you all being here and filling in for Skip and Stephen A. And it's going to be some fun having you guys
Pleasure.
here for the rest of the week. We got Kate Bacon; she's with ESPNW.
Absolutely.
Great job as usual. Highly impressed by you, Danny Cannell.
He's all right.
So I'll be there tomorrow, and then I'm off vacation. So.
Okay, good. But we appreciate you filling in.
Thank you.
And then you, my friend.
Yes,
Face of the nation.
she called me her friend, so I'm glad for that.
I'm just calling him the face of the nation.
He is the face of the nation.
That's it.
At this point, we're going to be the shame of the nation if this
Zero.
keeps up with
Face
everybody.
of the nation, shame of the nation, Freddie Coleman. You've been great. We always
Thank you.
appreciate you, and we'll
Thank you
have
so
you for
much.
a couple of days, will we not?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, yes. But you will
Okay.
have you for a couple of days.
Coming up on the show, too, this week we have a lot of special guests. Mayo Cotto will be here, and some other special guests. Byron Maxwell will hang out with
Nice.
us, so that'll be good for us. Cheryl Sandberg. So we'll have a lot of people. It'll be a good time. We will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, back. Bye-bye.